Hello, people. What is going on? Another day, another week that is slowly coming towards the end. To my right is Lucas. You know who he is, all the way from the US of A. The boys are in the USA space now. They've touched down in Florida. They're enjoying the sunshine in Florida. But before we get started, smash a like on the video. Lucas, how are you doing, mate?
I'm good. Just slowly counting the days down till Tampa.
He's slowly counting the days down to Tampa as he clicks off. I shall carry on then. You know what I mean? Why he comes back? What a schoolboy!
Sorry,
You know what I mean? He's back. He's back.
I have that mouse where it has like the buttons on the side to like go forward and back on a page. I accidentally hit it, but yeah, I'm just slowly counting down the days till Tampa. We are approaching a week, 8 days away now. Very excited, and I was very excited today to learn that the preseason matches will be on Premier Sport in England. So there will be a stream somewhere for me to watch. Will not be paying that stupid little £7.99 to watch, but happy about that as well. But yeah, just another day, another week started. The transfer window news, opinions, all that good stuff.
What I need to speak about, which we were speaking off air, we might as well get into it. People have decided to start going at Mark Noble right now. I'm going to say this. I do not understand it for the life of me why people are digging out a player who has come through the academy. He's a West Ham fan. He's a West Ham boy. Like, he's given his life, his soul to his club, and he's developing the youth players to now fans looking at him and spitting on him. Yeah, I think it's fucking disgusting. I'm going to say this before I let Lucas land on this, that our own are starting to turn on the geezer who's one of our own. Yeah. Go on, Lucas. I'll let you go on this one, man.
Yeah, I don't really understand like the correlation with Noble and our problems currently. And some people have an opinion on if we have transfer problems right now or not. It's opinions at the end of the day, but I just don't see where Mark Noble comes into the equation to be a scapegoat or someone to complain about with our transfer strategy, the boardroom, because last time I checked, he's not really a part of all that. He has a bit of an influence, like as we all know, when we talk about Steiden and all that, like how we talk about how it's not just him. Like Mark Noble has a bit of an influence in the boardroom, but I mean, he's mainly there to overlook the academy. He does what he does. And I just don't see the correlation. Some of the stuff I'm seeing, like, don't worry, I'm sure one of our own will pipe up about Concessions. He has his nose in the trough too. And it's a video of Mark Noble saying we're not run like a circus anymore, which again, that's your opinion. But I would say over the past, what, 4-5 years, you could say it's still run like a circus, but in my opinion, it's a lot better. Are there still a lot of things wrong?
It's always been run like a fucking circus. This is what people don't get, right? Not you, Lucas. I mean, people in fucking general. Yeah, they don't understand. It's always been run like a fucking circus. It was run like a circus in 2016 when we walked out the door and we was going to a stadium that wasn't even fucking ready.
It just doesn't really make sense either. When Mark Noble's one of the people, when we sold Greg Diangana, he spoke out.
Yeah.
So I mean, to say that, even though he's demonstrated in the past before, he'll say something if he doesn't agree or it's of his displeasure. I just don't get it. But even that aside, I don't see where he comes into the equation. He's an employee of the club. I'm sure. And this is another thing that people don't get. Do you really not think Mark Noble has expressed internally maybe he disagrees with what's going on?
Right.
But at the end of the day, he is such a minute part of what's going on. He's only just a voice. Is he a big voice? Does his voice carry weight outside of the establishment? Absolutely. But you got to remember who you're dealing with here. David Sullivan, Karen Brady, I don't think they really care that he's Mr. West Ham. At the end of the day, no matter what Mark Noble thinks, they're going to do exactly what they want to do. If just because Mark Noble isn't tweeting or putting something on the internet, that's really not going to do anything. But I guarantee you, he has definitely discussed or shared his opinions internally. But people act like he could be like the saving grace, which is insane to me.
I agree with you 100%.
And to take your frustration, or maybe it might not be frustration, it's just an opinion, but to have that opinion, I think is just totally disgraceful for what he's done. And even another tweet, a company man, one of us, bollocks he is. Cast your mind back to 2008, Burnley at the shit pit. I mean,
so they've gone back to. Someone just said that to me. 2018 and all this. Fucking when will people fucking learn? Yeah, it's not him. It's not the fans. It's the fucking owner. And I don't know how many more times I've got to drill it. If I've got to get a fucking Black and Decker out and fucking plant it in someone's nut for them to understand that this is the owner. The owner runs the show, right? And Mark is there, right? Now, is Mark an influence there? Yeah, to a point, right? Because if Mark Noble walks out the door or gets sacked, then the fans will turn on GSB. So really, they've got to keep them in there. Does Mark Noble like what's going on? Obviously not. He don't.
I would bet no. Do we know for a fact? No, but my money says no. He doesn't approve of what's going on because, again, I just don't understand why. And again, this isn't some majority like Troche says. It is a noisy minority, but like to me, it's just one of those things that like even if it is a small minority, it's such a blasphemous opinion. It's so just out of left field and makes no sense. People are just, and again, Fever, in my opinion, is the mascot of GSB hatred. He is the figurehead because he has evidence to back it up. He has stories to tell, and he's living proof that if he doesn't like something, like he's not going to go. I mean, like you said, going on 9 years now, you haven't been to a match at home. But again, I get it because I hate GSB too, but like just screaming out dumb opinions like now Mark Noble is an issue or he's part of the problem. Like you can't be miserable. You can't be this miserable all the time or look for so many things to back up your hatred for GSB. Like there doesn't have to be so many pieces to the puzzle of hatred. Like the pieces of the puzzle are simple. GSB. That's it.
I'm going to be honest, yeah. Well, shout out to Trevor all the way over in Cape Town.
Hope
you're good, Trev, yeah. All I'm going to say is this, right? You don't shit on your own. That's the first thing. When will people learn that you just do not shit on the locals and you don't shit on your own fucking players? Right, Mark Noble's an employee at West Ham. I want Mark Noble in there. I don't want Mark Noble out the door and down the road. I want him in there because he cares like every other fan cares, yeah? He will look at this from his side and he will understand it from a fan's point of view. Mark Noble is generating players in that academy like your Earthies, like your Orfords, like your Cases, right? Who the fuck else is doing it? No one else is doing it. Mark's done it, right? He's the one who's up early in the morning. He's the one who's there. And there's people slagging him off about something that happened 6 years ago. 6 fucking years ago. Do you know what I mean? Let's go back to something that happened fucking 9 years ago. Do you know what I'm saying? When we moved from Upton Park to Stratford, do you know what I mean? People have got to stop getting this out of their arse, right? Get their head out of their fucking arse. It's no one else. It's Brady and Sullivan. That's who the problem is. And until you get that problem at the door, down for fucking A13 and as far away from the East End of London as possible, that, will be a great day, right? I will be the first one over there having beers and getting smashed out my fucking tree in Stratford. But you can't keep going at the people who have give their fucking heart and their soul to this club. Some of these people have give their heart and soul to this club. Mark Noble being one of them, right? I remember that kid at 16 years of age making his debut against Southend, I think it was, in a fucking in a League Cup game, right? This guy's given his life to West Ham. He's never shitting on us. He never wanted to leave, right? He's always stayed with us through thick and thin, and we've nearly been fucking relegated multiple times. We've gone down, and he's always been there. Do you know what I'm saying? And there's people slagging him off, and I'm thinking, why? Like, what is going on in there? You know what I mean?
Again,
I don't get it.
it's something I didn't like want to stress about. Like, obviously we're not going to talk about this for 15, 20 minutes, but it's just one of those things where, like, I totally get the hate for GSB and looking for reasons to hate them, because again, like, we all have a strong disdain for him, but I don't see the Mark Noble angle into how he's making things worse, or he's making things more difficult, and why isn't he making a stand or something of that nature?
You know what it is,
it just
you,
doesn't make sense.
Lucas, you know what it is? It's frustration. I'll tell you what it is. It's frustration. It's because,
which is fine, but like, to me, and again, opinions are opinions at the end of the day, but to me, to voice that opinion out of frustration, your head's gone. Like, your head's gone at this point.
Because if you're going to go down the Mark Noble route, and I'm going to say this quite open, I want the chat to see what they think, then you have to start going down the Trevor Brooking route and the Alan Devonshire route and all the other players that have played for West Ham, the Julian Dix route, the Tony Cotty route, and all these other players that have been at West Ham for many years, and the Billy Bonzes and things like that. Like, let's not start going at Mark Noble because Mark Noble's in there, right? When we had Mark Noble in the ranks, a lot of West Ham fans went, you know what, it's really good that he's there because he can see what's going on from the inside. The issue is about the concessions and everything else. This is where it's getting a bit out of hand, is you've got to start having action now. Yeah, action is walkouts, protests, taking a fucking 10,000 leaflets into the ground and holding up save our concessions, right? That's what it should be, right? And not keep going at the person who is fucking been there through thick and thin, bleeds this claret and blue, right? And he loves the club like we all do. Do you know what I'm saying?
And this from Evan, I don't totally disagree with this. First, I've heard this on Noble, shows how toxic the board have made us. I totally agree with that, but at the end of the day, you've got to have some sort of, there's got to be something in your head that pulls you away from making such a irrational thought and opinion. Like Noble is now part of the problem. Like, it doesn't make sense. And again, I will say this again. This is no like majority outcry. Not a bunch of people are saying this, but it is a noisy minority, as we all know. Even a noisy minority can make lots of noise and represent an angle or an opinion that seems far bigger than it actually is. Again, I've seen like a handful of people talk about it and agree amongst one another, but I just find it absolutely insane, if you ask me.
It's where you go with it, though, Lucas. Because if you're going to go and start going after Mark Noble now, then who else is on the hit list? Like it's always, it's just every single time. Like, it's Mark Noble. It's
James Collins will be next.
It'd be someone else.
Anton Ferdinand will be next.
Yeah, I think Anton might be next. Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying?
If he really cared about the club and the supporters, he would not appear on the stadium tours coming up in the next week or two.
That's what I'm saying. So,
what kind of opinion is that? I just don't get it.
It's mad. Like, I agree with you, right, on this. Yeah, I think the Mark Noble thing. I think anyone who sort of values West Ham, and I put a tweet out just a minute ago, and it's fucking like pinging all the time. But I turned around and said, like, anyone who's going to sit there and literally knock Mark Noble needs serious help. You need serious help, and listen, I will help you. Do you know what I mean? If you need help, because like it's just not right. It's just simply not right. And I get the frustration side of things, because you can't get to the scum that are at the top of the mountain. I get that, but let's not go at one of the geezer who is A, been a servant to West Ham throughout his career, and B, is one of us. He's one of us, and you don't shit on him. Like, do you know what I mean? This geezer's in there, and I'm glad Noble's in there, right? Because Noble's seeing what's actually really going on. Yeah, and if he's developing these youngsters like your Earthies, your Alfords, your Caseys, whoever, yeah, I'm all for that, because it was only last year some of these fans were turning around and saying about the Academy of Football. Yeah, we should use the Academy of Football. Well, Mark's in the fucking Academy of Football. He's doing a good job in the Academy of Football.
He is the academy right now to a point.
He is, isn't he? So, Ricky's saying what has been said. If you could sort of clarify what's been said, Lucas, and on any of them tweets, it'd be interesting to hear, mate.
Basically, verbatim, people are now just throwing Mark Noble into the topic or into the fire of everything that's going wrong at West Ham right now. People are now starting to find new things to complain about, throwing people that have nothing really to do with our current issues into the fire. It just really doesn't make a lot of sense. And then they're even getting cute that like, oh, like I'm not buying the Canning Town boy nonsense. Oh, you can't literally be born in Canning Town. Like, are we really that miserable?
Fucking hell, mate. Yeah, well, I think we are, but it all goes back to the owners, doesn't it? But people see sense on that. I will say that. Let's talk about Jhon Durán, Lucas. Like, he wants to come. He's unfollowed everyone. Villa fans are saying he's bad news. Our fans want him. What are you saying on Jhon Durán? The saga goes on, mate. Hold on. And one more. He's heard about these big clubs circling, and he's liking it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess for someone that wants to leave his current situation in his club, I mean, not bad for him. But in terms of us going in for him, there are some red flags. But I don't know. I get where people are coming from, that they don't want someone like him at the club. But, I mean, realistically, history has shown we are the type of club that we do like getting players with a bit of edge, a bit of a bastard, bit of a see you next Tuesday. I won't say it on air. But yeah, like Arnautovic, DiCanio, like we've gone. Those are just two easy ones. But we've gone plenty of players with baggage, and they've turned out to be decent. I can't really. I'm not even gonna try and like really think about it, but I don't know. I still, to me, even though I like the profile of player, I still think 35 mil north of 40 or towards 40 is a bit much. And I don't really mind us sitting on a few of our targets, because I don't like playing the waiting game. I'm just as against it as a lot of people. Like, I want us to get transfers in as soon as possible, get them bedded in, and we're ready to go into the season. But it's not a perfect world. Rarely do any clubs execute their transfer targets, policies, plans perfectly. It just doesn't happen all the time. But in certain scenarios like this one and then a few of our other targets, I don't mind us waiting a little bit, because I think we can kind of get over – I don't want to call it get over the hump, but like nearing towards the end of the transfer window, I don't think we will totally capitulate. I think we can be okay. But that's not my preference. That's not what I'm saying. But in reality, I think we can get there with the certain scenario we're in. Like, for example, Ivan Toney, Durán. We don't want to pay £40 million for Durán and 50 to 60 for Toney. But if we wait towards the end of the window, and those are two clubs that really want to get rid of them because they have to get other targets. Same with United with Wan-Bissaka as well. But they've seemed to have lowered their price now. You just got to wait sometimes to really get the upper hand in negotiations. Is it my favorite tactic from a fan's point of view? No.
Right.
But I understand it to a point.
The only thing I will say on that is that what happens if this man decides he's going to hang about and wait for other clubs to come in? And then West Ham are he's dangling the carrot in front of West Ham saying, well, I will join you, but I'll see how it goes. And then he's waiting for other clubs who are in Europe, etc. Yeah. I don't like the geezer's attitude. I think the way he's acting like a sport kid to a point.
Well, he is a kid.
Yeah, he's a kid, so he's 20 years old. And I think when I look at him, I don't know why I feel this is a bad signing. I just really do. I think the player, he's probably a good player, but the attitude of the player just isn't on it. Shout out to that guy. But the thing is, if West Ham signing, then great. But if they don't, then something needs to be said. Like I said something last night, Lucas, or the other day, funny enough. And I turned around and said on that space the other day when it was a proper good space, I said, why is it that we've got 3 players in, but there's only one first teamer in there? Like, we need more than one first teamer in this ranks because Guilherme's not a first teamer, is he?
Well, we haven't found out yet. He? Yeah, but my money would say not just yet. But the Durán thing is so weird because, like you just said, we desperately need a first team striker. Like, and to me, Antonio still is a first team player, but again, it's his availability, it's his age, it's his physical. Like, I can't see him being another season solution. Like, I would love to see Antonio in a lessened role and we bring him on the pitch with like 25, 30 minutes to go and he's absolutely causing terror. Or obviously we rotate him in to the odd cup match, or when we have 2 matches in a week, he'll get the job done. But we need a first team striker, someone who's better than him, someone similar profile, in my opinion. And Durán is that guy, and so is Ivan Toney to me. Ivan Toney is the next step, but again, it seems with those two, it might be a bit of a waiting game because from reports we don't want to pay what both clubs are asking. And from what we've seen before, and credit to you called it. Brentford, I think, would budge towards the end of the window, and I think Villa would as well because apparently they want João Felix, and they're really not going to be able to get there unless they sell Durán. So again, do I like the waiting game? Is it my favorite? No, but from a perspective of negotiations and trying to get a player for the price you deem is valid, I get it. But I just, again, I told you, I'm a fan of getting players in as early as possible, give them preseason to vet in, and right now, it's not really going as according to plan.
I don't get this transfer window. I really don't. Right, and people are a bit mixed on it. Like, they go, "Oh, you know what? You got to wait." Right, and they keep going back to last season. But what they keep forgetting is this: Lopetegui's a new manager. It's a new manager, new playing style, new philosophy, new way of playing, so to speak. And we need the players in now. Now, I will say one thing is that when people say about Tony's a proven centre forward at Brentford. Yeah, he's looking at Tottenham or us.
Yeah.
Now, if Tottenham don't get him, West Ham should be all over him. He's literally the same. He's the same as Antonio, but just younger and a better finisher.
And the comment right here, I totally agree with. Durán, bad attitude. I think Tony has a bad attitude, and I think he's quite a shit professional, if you ask me. But and I hate saying this, but like, it's just a fact of life sometimes, where Ivan Toney is just such a level above you. To me,
yeah,
I wouldn't say disregard, but I can put that to the side because we all know how good he is, and he would transform us.
Exactly that.
Even though he does have a shit attitude, and I don't rate him as a professional, he's that good.
See, Jhon put something out the other day, Jhon Whetstone, like late last night, and I quite retweeted it. And I turned around and said, he goes, "Oh, Brentford are looking for 50 to 60 million, right? There's no chance in a month of Sundays, that Brentford are getting 50, 60 million for Ivan Toney."
Yeah.
Right?
They're doing essentially the same thing that we did.
Yeah.
Like, they're just playing a bit of hardball. And why would you not start your negotiations right there? Because realistically, let's be honest, Brentford, again, in my opinion, I'm no expert, but if Brentford could get north of £30 million for Ivan Toney in the last year of his contract, I think they'd be happy with that. But they know the kind of player they have on their hands. They know certain big clubs need a striker. Why would they not start at 50, 60 million? And they're definitely, I think they'll easily get £40 million for him.
I reckon if he's going to be sold, he'll get sold for about 40.
Whether it's us, Spurs, someone else, they will pay it 1,000%.
100%. Like,
maybe not us because Sullivan and all that, but someone will pay it.
One thing I will say is that you got to look at this on face value. Now, as I've always said, I said it on Spaces, I said it on this channel, that the Tony deal will go all the way to the end. It'll go to the end of the deal, end of the window. Because the simple fact of the matter is, Brentford are sitting there expecting 50 and 60, but no club in their right mind is going to pay that. Yeah. So when it comes to the final day or final couple of days before the window shuts, Brentford will buckle. Brentford will fold under the pressure and go, right, we need to take something on Tony. Otherwise, if it comes to January, he's going to go for 20 million or even 15 million. Right. And is it right? And the thing is, there's no gain on Brentford keeping the geezer there. There simply isn't. Right? There's no sort of plus in it.
Yeah, normally I disagree with that type of logic because I felt the same way with Declan Rice. Like, don't get me wrong, 100 mil or whatever, it's nice and it would really help the club. But I genuinely did believe if Declan Rice did stay that final year, we could have done maybe something special again. But again, I get it from both sides of the coin. 100 million really helps the club out. Or even with Brentford, 40 million, wow, that would do them a world of good. Same with like someone like Brighton, that would do them a world of good. But I agree with you. I don't see him staying really helping Brentford out because they do look like they're going to have another just average season, and I don't see him really like propelling them to new heights, especially when they know if they got 30 to 50 million, quite a wide range, I know, 30 to 50 million, that could set them up 3-4 new players that could push them on to maybe achieve bigger aspirations.
I don't know, mate. With this transfer window, I'm a bit lost with it. Like, some people are saying, basically, bide your time, wait, let's see what happens. People like me are saying, well, hold on a minute. The season starts in 3 weeks on Saturday. Why have we only got one first teamer in our ranks when we need a bit more?
It's fair to be lost, and I think most people are, because about 5% of the fan base, I'd say, are in the know of what's going on. Obviously, certain ITKs, some people that are close to players in the club. So, like, I don't think it's weird for us to be lost and for us to have that opinion, because I would say I'm lost too. I'm not saying I disagree with our transfer approach, but I really don't know like what the goal is. Like right now we have 3 right back options that I'd be and we'll talk about that in a bit as well. We have 3 right back options, which I would be happy with, but there are 3 different like kind of weird scenarios, and we don't really know who we want. When, in my opinion, bringing in someone like Tim Steiden, I thought he would be someone that he scouts all over. He has a list. He knows priority, who he wants. And again, he still could have that. And the transfer window is not over. I'm not one of these people that are going to shit on Steiden because the transfer window is still going on. It still could be a massive success. But, I mean, I think most of us are lost and we really don't know what's going on. And I think that's normal.
I think he's being held back, Steiden, if you want me to be honest. With the players that are being linked to the club, it just doesn't feel right to me. It really doesn't. Like, I'm not being funny. On the right back front, and we will speak about it. We've got 3 right backs. Was it Mazwari?
Mazzari, I don't know.
Yeah, right. The Moroccan sort of right back.
From Bayern.
You got Kyle Walker-Peters, and then you got Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Now, apparently, Wan-Bissaka can go for about 10 million there. Yeah. So why are West Ham hesitating? Like, it feels like to me West Ham are hesitating because they're waiting so long for it to go even lower.
So from what I've seen right now, so apparently United are in for Mazzari as well.
Yeah.
From Bayern. So maybe there's a bit of a line dancing game going on right there between both clubs. But I agree, £10 million for Wan-Bissaka. Even though, me personally, I think Kyle Walker-Peters may be a bit of a better player, in my opinion, in terms of being an all-around fullback, and he can play left back as well.
Yeah.
Aaron Wan-Bissaka for £10 million, that is, you're not going to get better value than that. Like, you'd be paying more for Mazzari from Bayern, but Wan-Bissaka, to me, that's an easy punt. £10 million. You're at least getting someone who, in my opinion, is just about on par with Soufal. You could compare them both if you wanted, but at least what you're getting with Wan-Bissaka, you're getting a world-class one-on-one defender, and then everything else from there, I think he's decent, except his crossing. His crossing is really shit, but
Yeah, but what it is, Lucas, is it's the hesitation, and Trosh just put it in the chat there. People can't blame Moyes anymore for the difference because he ain't here.
Well, now they're blaming Noble. So
Noble there, do you know what I mean? The issue is that we need a right back at this club. We all know it, yeah. Otherwise, we're starting with Gadura and fucking Soufal, right? Why is it taking so long to get this one done? Like it makes no sense. Now, I'll go through them quickly. Yeah, the geezer from Bayern is a sick note, right? I see what someone said in the chat there. I make him 100% right. I looked at his injury record thing on Twitter, and it's not looking good. I've got to say that, right?
yeah, it's not great, but he is very good.
He is very good, but what do you want? Do you want someone fit, or do you want someone who's very good?
Yeah, no,
right?
I get that.
Yeah. Then you've got Carl Walker-Peters. Now, we've been linked with this geezer all throughout the summer, right? We was linked with him with Downs, part exchange, everything. For some reason right now, why is that one not progressing? Is it because it's a dead deal, basically, ain't happening? And if it goes to Wan-Bissaka for 10 million, between 10 and 15 million, are we that penny pinching that much to try and get a deal over the fucking line?
Well, I mean, to be fair, we have already spent about 70-odd million pound, and
yeah,
like some people were saying. Remember, we talked about this weeks ago. People were saying we only have 50 million pound to spend. Some people are saying we have 150. And what do I always tell you? The truth always lies somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
I said if I had to guess, anywhere from 70 to 100. So it is what it is. So I do think we are in a bit of a stalemate because we do have to sell someone, in my opinion, hopefully a Garrett because he brings the most value. But again, it's proving to be a little difficult. I know there's been some reports that we're trying to get something approved by the Saudi League and get him over there, which would be good for us. We get a nice hefty fee, but a couple French clubs interested. But I think right now, in my heart of hearts, I do think we could go out right now and get Wan-Bissaka, but I think we may be trying to offload someone just so it's not as much as a burden or something. But again, this is a Premier League, 10 million pound. If you are not Ipswich, Luton Town, or someone, even I would expect a club like Southampton, who just came up. They're a big club in my opinion. They can go out and spend 10 million pound if they wanted Wan-Bissaka. So why can again I don't know the situation, but in my heart of hearts, you're a big Premier League club, 10 million pound for Wan-Bissaka. If true, you just need to go out and get him. That's great value.
Yeah, but what's the hesitation though? That's what I can't understand.
Wages as well apparently is a stumbling block, but right now he's on from Capology, I think is the name of the website. They're renowned. He's on 90 million pound, or not 90 million, 90,000 pound a week, which if you want to be a big club, if we want to progress, that's got to be, to me, that's not too bad. We should be offering them something close to that or the same.
I don't know. I'm not convinced on this.
If we're giving Danny Ings 125 bags a week,
yeah, I think West Ham are in a situation where they can't shift anyone. That's what I think the problem is. They're looking to try and shift Zuma and Aguerd. I don't think no one's buying Zuma. I really don't.
Probably trying to get rid of Cornet. Probably trying to get rid of Ings.
It ain't happening. Like for me personally, I just don't see how West Ham are going to generate the funds needed to go and get the players that we need. Do you know what I'm saying? I understand what people are saying about Durán. He's on holiday and all that, but I don't trust this move. I really don't. I think if another club comes in for him, and the club's in a European position, he's going there, mate. He ain't staying with us. I know that. Yeah. And all this about sort of Lopetegui and him and all that, I just think that's all bollocks, really. What do you make of old Lucas Paqueta? He's back. He's heading back with Bowen to Florida.
That's a great sign. That's great to hear. I'm happy for selfishly, I'm happy for myself as well, because I would be so upset if I went to Tampa and all I saw was like the academy boys and maybe a few first teamers. But the way it seems like things are lining up for me in Tampa, all the boys will be there. Hopefully get some pictures, hopefully talk to them a little bit. That'd be cool. But great sign, because like I said, some people will say the transfer window isn't going too great, but I think it could be going a lot worse. And if everyone does stay, like say we don't get any more transfers, would I be happy? No. But I think Lucas Paqueta coming back, having Zuma and Aguerd, I don't know. I think it could be a lot worse. And again, I'm not saying I'd be happy if they stayed. And I do think we need better players. We need more depth.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to hear Lucas Paqueta is coming back. And I think that's a good sign that he will be participating with us this season.
The only thing I will say on that is that I do think the window at the minute hasn't really been like amazing. Like, do you know what I mean? Bringing in Max Gilman, fair enough, I can understand that. But under Lopetegui's reign, I would have thought West Ham would have been going out and getting some more players in. And it feels like to me what you just said is pretty spot on, really. West Ham are in a situation where they can't shift anyone, so they ain't going to buy no one before they can shift them. Do you know what I'm saying? And people like Aguerd, I don't know why, I've got a strange feeling West Ham bring one more player in before the season starts, and then they're going to try and penny pinch and get around it that way. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't understand it, though, Rob.
Yeah, I don't know. Some people have their preferences. Like some people really want another midfielder. Some people really want another 6. In my opinion, I think our midfield is solid right now. It would be nice to bring in another 6, but if you told me we didn't bring in another midfielder and we kept the same guys as last season and Orford and Potts possibly to fill in for Downs, I'd be happy with that. But there's one or two very glaring positions for me, which is some people will say right back, some people say left wing, people will say striker. I would say striker and right back are the two most important for me. I think we can get around Paqueta and Guilherme being our two wide players on the left, but we need a backup right back badly. Someone on par with Soufal or better.
I agree. Stuart says, will you be doing a live Twitter filming of the friendly like James did?
No, I will not be. I'll hopefully be posting pictures with former players, current players, and people from DC Irons. And it should be a fun time, but Happy Hammer I will be back. I will be back sometime next season. I will not break the streak. I will let you know.
What are you
I'm inevitable. I'll always be back.
I know, mate. I know. What are you expecting from the boys when you see them in Tampa, Lucas?
I just want to know the vision, really. Like,
yeah.
And again, I don't think a lot of people do know the vision. The only thing that I really know right now is very little. Like, it looks like we're playing a 4-3-3. It looks like we want to have more possession. We want to pass the ball around a little bit more instead of being more direct counterattacking. But again, we're like halfway through preseason summer window. So, and again, I'm more of a half glass full kind of guy. Like has the start been great? No, but I think I'm hopeful that the window in preseason will end well. So that's the way I'm looking at it. But I just want to see a vision. I want to see something convincing. And right now, I haven't really seen it yet.
Ricky says, is Tim's psychic Max with his supercomputer broken? Do you know what? I can understand. Anyone who follows me on Twitter, E20WHU, go over and see my tweets. Scroll down and you'll see a tweet of me saying about why Tim Studden loves Brazil. I put something up last night and it's about 4 a.m. over there in Copacabana Beach and everyone's out partying, loving life. So why the fuck would you be in Stratford? You'd be there, wouldn't you? So it is what it is. Listen, one thing I will say, Lucas, when you do see them, is that they are trying to do the sort of new philosophy, but if you just watch Lopetegui, it's not. I ain't gonna say it's not getting through because it might start getting through as the games go on.
Exactly.
Yeah? But it's definitely a learning curve. I think West Ham are trying to learn a new style that they've never had really in their fucking for a long time.
And again, that's totally fair. That is life. If
Yeah.
you've got to go learn a new job or learn something new at your job, or a lot of the time you're not going to get it right away. It's going to take a little bit. We're just hoping it takes a couple preseason matches, but realistically, it might take till the end of the window till we're all bedded in to what Lopetegui wants. Hell, it might take till Christmas. We don't know. We only have to wait and see. But yeah, I just want to see what we're all about. I want to see if we're going to be truly different than last season. And again, we've discussed our opinions on Lopetegui versus Moyes versus other managers we've been linked with, and I don't think we'll see much different. I think aesthetically we'll see something a little bit different, but will the results come in? We're just gonna have to wait to find out. And I'm hopeful, and I'm praying that we can embark on another journey or take a step forward from where we left off last season.
Do you think that West Ham are preparing to do to surprise us with a signing? Like over the last 2 years, we've signed Lucas Paqueta, Mohamed Kudus. I don't think a Max Kilman cuts it for me personally. But can you see West Ham biding their time and it being someone like a really big signing coming in?
Depends what you think a big signing would be. Like you just said, Max Kilman doesn't cut it for you, but some people say £40 million for Max Kilman. That's a big signing. So like a big signing for me would be Ivan Toney.
Yeah.
Like if we went out and got Ivan Toney, I don't think I'd really complain at all the rest of the window, because at the end of the day, I think no matter who your center halves are, if you bet in an idea and a tactic of just trying to be solid and compact as possible, I think you can get around to that. But you just can't, in my opinion, you just can't get around not having a striker like Ivan Toney. Like Antonio is one of the only strikers I think in the league where he's not a great finisher. He doesn't particularly have an array of great skills, but you can work with what he's got. Strong, pacey, hardworking. He doesn't need to score to contribute. If he can take up 2 defenders and let someone else free on a run, he's done his job. But again, that's a very particular niche. But I just think we can't ignore any longer the goal scoring drought from striker. Like we just can't do it. The only way we can ignore is if Lopetegui is going to play Bowen as striker, which again, could Bowen do it again 2 seasons in a row, playing a striker out of position and scoring goals? My money says no, but it's Jared Bowen. I think the world of him. And I don't know. Again, I just want to know the vision.
Well, the vision's going to be interesting. Right. Put your comments in the comment section. Any questions for me and Lucas? Just say like question for James or Lucas or whatever. And then we'll read them out before we go. Are you excited, Lucas, to go down to you are going to Tampa, aren't you? Yeah.
Yep, I'll be there with DC Irons. And hopefully there'll be some stuff planned for us. If not, we will be making our own fun. I know a bunch of us will be there. Some of us will be there on Thursday at the open training session, which should be good. And then Friday, I'm sure will be an absolute belter. And then Saturday, I'll probably be blacked out at the match, depending on how the day goes. And yeah, it should be a fun time. I'm excited to see the boys again. I haven't seen them on U.S. soil for quite some time. I think the last time they came to America was North Carolina. It was like North Carolina, but before that they went to Seattle, because I remember Declan Rice talking about something going to Seattle. But yeah, last time they came to America was like 2015-ish, North Carolina, and I didn't go, but now I will be there, and yeah, I just want to see the boys. That's it.
Fair enough, mate. I'll get to some of these comments. Do you think any of the youth will stick with the main squad once the season kicks off? What are you saying on that, Lucas?
I think Earthy and Potts will be around. Orford and Casey, I think, are a bit on the edge.
Yeah.
Orford maybe, depending on if we get another midfielder or not. But I think Earthy and Potts will be in and around the first team. All bold shout all season. I think they'll be around the first team.
I think Earthy is. I think Potts isn't. I think Potts will go out on loan again to a championship side. I think Earthy will do. I think Casey will do. And all. I don't know why. I think Casey's going to be in and around the team, especially if we don't get these centre half sorted out. Yeah,
Orford will be tough because I know he's coming up on I think he's on the last year of his deal.
Yeah.
So maybe we try to keep him around the first team. Maybe we'll sway him a little bit, but in my opinion, I think Potts and Earthy will be around the first team. Casey probably go out on loan.
What are you saying on this? Dream 11.
Dream 11. Right. I'll try and keep it reasonable. I would go Areola.
I agree. Who would be the right back? If you could choose the right back out of the three mentioned, which one would you say benefits West Ham more?
It's weird because I wouldn't necessarily say Kyle Walker-Peters and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. They're not ball-playing right backs. And Mazraoui, to a point, he's more of a ball-playing right back, but not really. He's kind of like Emerson to a point. Yeah. But I guess Emerson is quote-unquote ball-playing left back. But me personally, I still would go Soufal depending on preseason performance. But again, I'm not going to try and make it incredibly out of this world. So I'm going to go Areola, Soufal, Tadibo. I'd really like to see come in.
Yeah, so do I.
And Kilman, and then Emerson. And then my midfield three would be, oh my goodness, tough. I would go
Alvarez.
Yeah. Kudus in the 10. And then I'll be honest, I still think people are disregarding Souček a bit. I still think Souček could fit into the side, especially now that he's back. I think he could impress Lopetegui. So I'm going to go Souček. And then Paqueta, Tony, Bowen. That would be my dream 11, I guess, for next season.
I'll go a bit different. I'll go Areola. I'll go right back Wan-Bissaka. I think he's more likely to be done than Kyle Walker-Peters. I'd like Kyle Walker-Peters, but I think Wan-Bissaka would come in. Kilman, Todibo, or Chalobah, Trevor Chalobah, who I wouldn't mind. I think he's
hold on, sorry. I gotta take out Souček because being linked with Conte, and you asked for my dream 11. Actually, no, I'm taking Alvarez out. I'm putting Conte, then Souček.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter.
Chalobah and Kilman together. I think that would be a good pairing. Or Todibo or Todibo. Emerson. I'd go Alvarez and Souček. And then I'd have a front four. Yeah. Of Paqueta, Kudus as a 10, Bowen on the right, and then Ivan Toney up front. That front four gets you into the top 7 easy. Like that's a powerful front four. The midfield will be a bit iffy because obviously you've got Alvarez in there and you've got another player in there. But
it's weird because, like I said before, I think our midfield right now is solid, but the combination is very important. Very important in my opinion, because there's people saying that they want a midfield three of Alvarez, Paqueta, and Kudus, which I would not agree with. I think we would get cut open incredibly easy. But if we had a midfield three of Alvarez, Souček, and Kudus as a 10, I think we could get by with that because you got two hardworking pivots. One of them can get forward, and then you got Kudus in the 10. But if you played Alvarez and Paqueta does work hard. He has a good work rate, but his tackling's a bit sloppy. He gets called out pretty easly for trying to do certain things. So I would just still stick Paqueta on the left. I think time has proven that his best position at West Ham has been out on the left.
Anthony says here, we're still looking for another central midfielder. What midfielder do you want to see come in? It's not so much what midfielder I want to see come in. I want to know what midfielder is leaving. because if you go through it, you've got Ward-Prowse, Souček, Alvarez, Irving. You got who else in there? Potts in there who could go
Totally
in
forgot
there.
my Dream 11. I do have Andy Irving in
Andy Irving, yeah.
there.
Like, for me, I'm not really sort of too hung up on the midfield, really.
And for what you were just saying, that's why I'm not hung up as well, because I think we do have like good options, and I think we have plentiful there.
Yeah.
And now that I'm thinking about it, the whole Potts and Earthy thing, I totally forgot about Swerve and Irv.
Yeah.
He could be part of that too, which maybe gets Potts or Earthy sent out on loan. Who knows? But yeah, I think we're good in the midfield personally. I mean, if you're asking me who I'd love to see come in, I would love Conte. I think he'd be brilliant, but I don't think that's going to happen.
25 mil for him is a bit strong, but I can understand the sentiment.
It is, but fee aside, I would love Conte.
Yeah.
I would get a kit tomorrow.
Yeah, I can understand what you're saying. For me, it's a tricky one because I think Alvarez is a key player for us. If he goes down, then we're fucked. Then we're seriously fucked in that position, because obviously, you know, no one else is a DM in that role. Do you know what I'm saying? Souček's not really a DM.
But he has proved a few times that when needed, he can play there. Obviously, I don't want him there a bunch, but there has been a few times he's played as a 6 and he done decent.
See, SDG Gaming, says here Tomori and Max will make the ideal centre back pairing. What do you make of Tomori, Lucas? And also Somerville, because I think he would be a good signing for West Ham. Do you know what I'm saying? And anyone who's watching this, he's currently favourites to join West Ham at 8-11. So if you like,
you said
Tomori, Tomori and Cisencio Somerville.
Okay. Tomori, again, I don't mind Tomori, but he doesn't. And again, this might be just Premier League bias because, again, that's what I watch mostly. Tomori, to me, just doesn't scream Premier League defender. I don't think he's a bad defender. I actually think he's quite decent. But, like, from some of the stuff I've seen, like, I would take him, but I don't think he's our best fit, if that makes sense.
How much would you pay for him?
30 to 40. I'll be honest with you. I would have rather paid. And again, this might come back to bite me in the ass, but you can clip me up. I don't care. At the end of the day, I still think I would have rather paid £40 million for Tomori than Max Kilman. But that's neither here or there. I hope Max Kilman proves me wrong.
I think Kilman will be all right. Listen, he looks solid enough. He's pretty decent on the ball. The only thing I will say is he needs a partner with him, someone who can defend as good as he can, and then we'll be all right.
And that's why I think Chalobah would be such a good signing and very good work from our board, because he's someone that can play multiple positions. He's good on the ball, defends well, quite big as well. And again, I'm not really the biggest fan of having two kind of ball playing center halves, but I think those two could work pretty well together.
24 years old, and he's about. Someone said he's about 30 million. I don't think he's 30 million. I think Chelsea are trying to get him out the door. He's not even gone on. He's not gone on a pre-season tour with them,
which is a bit of a disgrace in my opinion. And this right here is what's like. I see this all the time, and I agree. Tomori's been the best defender in Serie A for the last 3 seasons. Also been trained by Maldini. Say no more. I totally agree. That's what like reels me back in, even though I have the opinion that like I don't find him as like a Premier League defender, but like. He's been very good from AC Milan, and again the Maldini thing, like I can't just disregard that. But then again, there's been lots of players trained by great players, great coaches, and they turn out to be crap. But I get that. If we could get Todibo, Tomori, or Chalobah in, I'd be happy.
Chalobah would be a good sign.
I think any one of those 3 would be a good pairing with Max Kilman. Even if we had to roll out a Garrett next to Max Kilman, I don't think that'd be a terrible option, because obviously Kilman a bit more solid. A Garrett can be the ball playing center half, but again, I always side towards having 2 solid defenders. I'm not really a big ball playing center half type of guy personally. But obviously, if they're that good,
Yeah,
I always welcome it.
yeah. For me, Chandler Barr, if he's available at a decent fee between anything between 20 and 35 million, anywhere in that ballpark, I will take him all day long. 24 years old, he's English homegrown. He can play in multiple positions. He's a very, very good player. Yeah, he can play in the back three. Tomori, interesting one. Like I said it the other day, I say it again. He didn't want to be at West Ham a few years ago, and he went to Milan. But obviously, you got a choice: Stratford or Milan. Which one would you rather do?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I can get that. But yeah, listen, we definitely need someone. I see it in the chat there. Someone saying about when he needs a talker. I think it was Troj who said it. From what I heard, Kilman needs a organizer alongside him, a talker. I agree on that. A lot of Wolves fans said the same thing. What would you say in regards of Somerville? Because I think Somerville would be an excellent signing. 22 years old, Dutch, decent, very decent player. Like for Leeds last season, did get a bit carried away at times. Like he did get the ump a few times, but I think the potential's there with him. What you saying?
He's the type of winger I think we need, and if he were to come in to West Ham, then I probably wouldn't want Ivan Toney or Durán as much, because if Crescencio Somerville comes in, you could be looking at an attack of, you could go, or I always like to start from the midfield for some reason, but you could have Alvarez, Souček, Paqueta in the 10,
yeah,
Kudus on the right, Bowen at striker, Somerville on the left, and I think that could be something special. Because if, and again, I'm not trying to compare Lopetegui and Moyes, but if Lopetegui has a similar vision like Moyes did, where his front three could kind of like interchange at any time, like free flowingly, that could be insane, because you'd have bundles of pace. The quality of finishing from Kudus and Bowen is enough to just let Somerville run rapid down the flank and do whatever. And obviously Lucas Paqueta would have freedom in the 10 while being able to be backed up by Souček and Alvarez. And that's the most important thing for me. That's why it was like, I don't like Souček still being disregarded, because I think Souček, he is that type of 8 or someone you can play in the pivot alongside a DM that he brings he brings solidity. He solidifies the midfield a bit, where he can get forward, but he also gets back. Obviously, he's not great technically, but he allows a cam or a 10 like Kudus or Paqueta to just like roam free, make mistakes, because if they do, Souček's going to be there to clean it up.
Yeah, I think if you go and get Somerville in, I see obviously the links to Reece Nelson. I'm not buying that one, even though he's a right winger. People are saying he's a left winger. He could be on his way to Leicester as it goes. For me, when I look at Somerville, I think there's a talent now. Just got to pay the money. And I think it's saying like between 30 and 40 million for him. I think Leeds want, which I think is a good bit of business. He's young. He's going to learn. I think he comes in and he starts. I think imagine you got Somerville on the left, Bowen or Kudus on the right. You got Paqueta as a 10, and then you got someone up front, and it starts falling into his own. Do you know what I'm saying? I want to get to a comment where I think it was where is it? It's up here somewhere. Give me a second. Where is it? Where are you? Stuart put it in there. Is it there? I can't find it. What it was, the comment was basically saying, oh, here you go. Here it is. Yeah. Do you think the club will backtrack on the concession situation?
No.
Yeah.
There would have to be a very big statement made, like Betway Cup, literally less than 20,000 would have to be there. But then again, you can get 20,000 tourists. So again, it would have to be a monumental. That's the thing. If we really do want to make a change, it's got to be close to monumental, in my opinion. Like we've done some things, but they just really haven't been to the point of like Sullivan wanting to leave. Like you really have got to do something crazy to get that man out. Like in at the pace that everybody wants him out.
Yeah. I think what it is, I think the only way that you're ever going to get to Sullivan, and I say it quite a lot, is through the media. That's the only way you're ever going to hurt the geezer.
Media,
because,
relegation,
yeah,
monetarily. But again, at what cost do you want them gone? As much as I want them gone, there are some people out there that said they would take being relegated if that meant they were gone. To me, that's not a risk I'm willing to take personally.
I get the sentiment. Don't get me wrong. I understand what they're trying to say, but there's more than one way to skin a cat in this situation. The best way of doing it, if you can't get banners into the ground, because basically, from what I hear, for people I know, you can't get a banner in there for love of money.
It's changing now. Oh my gosh, how have I forgot the name? One of my mates, helps with it, and they're now allowing like tifos and stuff in. So that'll be a step in the right direction, but who knows what kind of tifos would be created and allowed in that stadium.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, mate. And he says, do you think Cresswell will be the only backup left back this season?
Yes. We wouldn't have, I don't think we would have signed him to a 1-year extension if we didn't feel that. So yes, I agree he will be the backup option this season, which I don't agree with at all.
God, that's a bad old fucking choice, isn't it? Let's be honest. You're going from Emerson to Cresswell. Like, Cresswell's done, mate, at the end of the day. And again, he's
to be fair to Cresswell, and I think about the same with Zuma. If Zuma were to stay, I think he could do what Cresswell did last season when called upon, because he's been sitting, resting, not asked to play a lot. When he does come in, I think he'll put in a job. And I'll never forget Cresswell's second half against Wolves away. Great performance. And I do think that we will see something like that again this season, where I don't think they'll play a lot, but when called upon, they'll be fresh, clear-minded, ready to go, and I think they'll be decent. But obviously, if you're asking them to play every other week, who knows what will happen? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know you're saying that. I'll get to the final few comments. James, no one will ever get Sullivan out as long as he's making money. He's here for a long time.
Exactly.
I don't know. I think if you push him hard enough, eventually he will buckle. The issue with West Ham fans is we do it for so long and then we stop. Like last season, for instance, when it was all getting heated up in Moyes, the GSB flag comes out at Nottingham Forest away. All of a sudden, that goes away, and we don't hear it. We don't see it again for the rest of the season. Now, if you're gonna get to Sullivan, you have to get through him through the media. Yeah, you have to go through live games and go in there. If you can't get a banner in the ground, go and get a leaflet made up with "Save the Concessions" and stick it in your jacket pocket. And when it comes to a game, you pull it out, you raise it up in the air, and you make yourself heard. That's the only way that you're ever going to get through to this man at the top of the mountain. Because, listen, everyone was saying it last year about Moyes, right, Lucas? You remember this? I was saying it. I was preaching it literally all the time. Everyone was going about Moyes, and I kept saying Moyes is just an employee, and the person at the top of the mountain is the major problem. And the thing is now, people are starting to see it. What I don't want to happen is the season to start and it becomes toxic because of that. Do you know what I'm saying? But what you say on that before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I mean, that the hardest part is getting everybody in unity, right?
Yeah.
And as much, and again, just like with the whole Moyes in, Moyes out thing, there are so many people that are not on social media. We don't know the opinions they have. All we know is what we see on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, whatever.
Yeah.
But again, there's so many people that don't have social media, not on social media. We don't know how they feel. So there's got to be, there's people that think they're doing enough, but they're not. And even if you are doing enough, sometimes it's not enough. You got to go the extra mile, the extra kilometer.
Yeah.
And it's just, again, unity is the key word for me. You're going to have to get like an old school town hall meeting together, like literally start handing out flyers. Like, listen, meet here this date, 3 p.m.
Yeah,
we're going to organize something you've never seen before, blah, 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 blah. That's the only way, in my opinion, you're really going to get GSB out, or Sullivan. Let's just call it Sullivan now, I guess. Sullivan out like in the near future, but I can't see it happening because unity at this club has not been a thing for quite some time now.
I agree with you on that. Jason says here, yeah, if you want Tony and the likes of better players, the prices will raise. I don't agree, as they sold it as an affordable football family. The only thing I will say to that, Jason, is if he can't afford to run it and provide the players that he's that we want, then he needs to sell it to someone who can. At the end of the day, you don't start charging youngsters £100 a ticket. Like I see something the other day, yeah, category AA game, right? Manchester City.
Didn't even know they did double A's. I thought it was just A.
Yeah, it's AA. I couldn't believe it even when I read it. AA game for a band one, which is lower down, decent-ish seats. It'll be 400 for a family of four. That is. Sorry,
it's a disgrace.
It's not acceptable, mate.
Mate, even and this is the thing as well. If I didn't know any better, if I wasn't so cultivated into the West Ham community, I didn't know the people I know, like the amount of season ticket members and holders I know. Mate, they're almost pricing me out as well. Because, like, again, if I didn't know anyone, if I didn't know any better, I would just be buying tickets off the website, like from the exchange, the ticket exchange. And those are expensive already. Like £85 off the ticket exchange. Imagine the ticket exchange now that they're charging $85, almost $100 a pop. On ticket exchange, that'll be like $150. It's going to be more. So they're almost pricing me out.
Right, Joe, what the problem is that where do you draw the line with it? If you let this go, then it'd be something else.
Exactly. And that's why I'm saying, like, if people are this passionate about it, we've got to do something incredible. We've got to do something miraculous. And again, that's the only way I think it's going to happen. But people have got to come together. That's the bottom line. You can't kick, scream, yell into the air all your frustrations. That only gets you so far.
The only way I put a tweet up the other day, and I think it was connected to a load of other tweeters, and I basically turned around and said the only way that you're ever going to get to Sullivan, you do a mass walkout on live games, and then the first thing people come out and said, "Oh, I don't think that people do that. Like, they love West Ham." I said, "But if you love West Ham, and you've got to look at the greater good in this. You've got to look further afield. You can't be looking at it." I'm not saying do it every single game. I'm talking about every live game, every game that is live on TV, and has to be done.
Exactly right here. Ticket Exchange is a massive piss take. Couldn't make the Bin Dippers game last season. Sold it on there, and I got £32 back when they were selling for £75 plus. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like I just said, I was trying to get a ticket for the Villa match last season because I didn't know if Clive or Mitch were going. So really my only source, or I got a ticket for myself, but I was trying to get a ticket for someone else for us together, and I couldn't find a pair, so I'd have to go on the ticket exchange. They were asking for £65-70 a piece. That's already a lot. And like I said, if I didn't know a bunch of season ticket holders or weren't in certain communities or whatever, they're pricing me out as well.
Mm-hmm. And that's what it is. Like, they don't. The thing is, I could really go to town on Sullivan. I really could, and there's people in this West Ham community, and I'm going to say this, I don't give a fuck, but there's a lot of people who are backing him up in a lot of ways. A lot of people who've got high influence, people who are good mates with him, top journalists who are good mates with him, and everyone from fucking Jim White to some of the people in the West Ham community need to start turning around and saying what is really going on here. Do you know what I'm saying? I understand it for an adult's prices. I get it totally. If you're an adult in the 21st century and you want to go and watch something, you've got to pay the dough. But to price out children who can't afford to go and earn any money, and basically an OAP who's put a lot of money into the club.
That's the thing.
That's where it does.
And that's the bottom line. to really wrap things up. The bottom line is, if you just increase the season tickets for adults, which they have been doing gradually every season, Mitch always tells me about it, always moans about it, which rightfully he has the right to moan about it. But charging the kids and the elderly the same price is just ridiculous. Because how on earth do you expect traditions, lineages to go on with West Ham? And again, we've said it a million times. That is, they don't. Karen Brady and Sullivan do not care about it. That is not part of their plan, and it is literally in fruition right now. Like it is happening right now, and they're in a win-win. You either pay it or someone else is going to take it, which is disgusting, in my opinion, and morally wrong. But again, the only way to fix it is really getting everyone together, or you pay it.
But the thing is though, Lucas, if the ground was ours, if we owned Stratford and that was ours, and we could modernise it how we want it and everything else, I could slightly understand the increase in the prices because you want to modernise the gaff. Yeah, but what I can't get is we pay $5 million a year.
It's morally wrong, but that's how Brady and Sullivan work. They don't work off morals. They could care less about morals.
Yeah, I remember, and I'm going to wrap this up right now. I remember when I done a show about 18 months ago on a different platform on YouTube, and I was up against someone who, I'm not going to name no names, but he's very well known, and he's a journalist, right? He's good mates with old Mr. Sullivan. And I went head to head with him, and I basically turned around and said to him that you can price out the locals in the local community because it doesn't affect you who live out in Surrey. Because you live out in Surrey, or you got some guys who live out in Somerset, it doesn't bother them. The issue is now, it bothers everyone now because everyone's affected. The geezer in Surrey, Somerset, Scotland, wherever you're from, it affects everyone.
The match goer, the yearly match goer. Like I said, it's even affecting me to a point because again, there are West Ham supporters out there, American, Canadian, Mexican, Asian, whatever may have you. Yeah. They're not in the same community or space as a lot of us, so they don't have a lot of connections to season ticket holders or people like that, and they have to buy on the ticket exchange, and no one should be paying £100 to go watch West Ham. No one,
never.
Even a tourist, no one should be paying that.
Nah. We're not an £100 a ticket club. I'm telling you that now. Like if we was like Man City, I can understand it. Yeah, but if West Ham start going like back to being West Ham of old, no one's forking out a one or a time. And it ain't just £100 a time though, Lucas. Right? As I say, you got a family of four, that's £400. You got your travel expenses, you got your food and drink. Like if you'll come from afar and you need to stay in London for any reason, that's expense. So I hope it gets sorted out, but I just don't see it. I really don't. Lucas, that's us done, mate. Any final words, Tampa? Anything you want to say before we wrap this up?
Nope. Just looking forward to Saturday where they'll be playing in Jacksonville. I know they're training in Tampa right now, but they're not too far from Jacksonville. Can't wait to see the match. Pray for me as I'll be on my way to the gym. My legs are absolutely in bits. They're done. It was leg day yesterday. So, I'm hoping for more positive transfer news. I'm hoping we get the players we all want, and hoping for a prosperous rest of the preseason. I want to see the boys. I want to see Lopetegui's vision and tactics, and then make my judgments from there.
Yeah, good man. I reported from Dagenham Redbridge. You're reporting from Tampa. I know which one I would rather have.
Hey, who knows? It might be like 110 degrees, so like about 45 Celsius there. UV index of 10. Let me tell you, last time I was in Florida, it was for a stag do bachelor party. Yeah. And the UV index was 10. The temperature with humidity was 115 degrees, so like 45 to 50 degrees Celsius. I was sunburnt within 30 minutes.
Oh, dear, mate. So give me Dagenham any day. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to E20 Zone TV. I'll be back while Lucas is away enjoying his life in Tampa, I'll be back during the week or towards the back end of the week, and talking about basically the build-up to West Ham's USA tour. Hopefully, I'm going to try and watch the game on Saturday. I think it's at 7 o'clock UK time. So I'm going to be watching it and examining it, and then probably do something afterwards. But yeah, listen, enjoy your Wednesday wherever you are. Keep the faith. Mark Noble's a legend. Don't let no one tell you any otherwise. And West Ham, sign some players, please. It'd be nice. Just sign some more. We want more. Anyway, take care of yourselves. Bye.